Bitcoin went over 30 freaking K today. Dudes, the Bitcoin ETF hype is really starting to kick in. And I want to break down some of the latest news on the Bitcoin ETF with you, why it's such an impactful event, and why as investors we need to be paying freaking attention to what is going on right now, because people are starting to wake up to the Bitcoin ETF hype reality. Look, JP Morgan, they're already out there saying the Bitcoin ETF is coming, and I know that JP Morgan is someone we can't necessarily trust in the markets, but we've been quoting them a lot, haven't we, recently? Man, JP Morgan, they are out there saying within the next few months we're going to get multiple Bitcoin ETFs approved, and they're basically echoing what other major organizations, institutions, analysts across the industry are saying. We have a very high chance of a Bitcoin ETF, multiple Bitcoin ETF products being approved in the very near future. We also have Bloomberg ETF analysts now putting it over 90% chance of an ETF approval coming. So it is on the way. The market's starting to figure out that it's on the way, and that is why we're seeing the price move significantly, and it's pretty damn exciting if we're going to be honest. Now look, the market has figured out that it's coming, but we're still only around 30K at the time that I recorded this video. That's not crazy. That's not crazy, because when the ETF actually gets approved, anyone buying right now, buying at 30K is front running the ETF approval, I think. I think when we get the ETF approval, we'll see price move very, very fast, because that's what happens. Now, there's some other interesting stuff going on here too, particularly refilings. So we're seeing some companies actually refiling their ETF applications, where basically they've been talking to the SEC. The SEC said, hey, look, we need you to update your application to say this, that, and the other thing. We've had stuff like them updating their custody parameters. So how is that Bitcoin that the ETF holds going to be custodied? Remember, we've been talking about that could be something that the SEC is going to say, well, we're not really happy with custody, but it seems not to be the case. It seems like they're just saying we just need to make sure that the custody wording is clear in your application. We also have stuff like hard forks being added into the ETF applications, so very clear rules on what happens if there's a hard fork, like with Bitcoin Cash. How is that going to be handled? So that's being added into the wording of these ETF applications. Basically, the SEC right now is actually talking to these ETF providers. Now, that's a big change from the past, where they basically just said, get stuffed, we don't want to talk to you, we don't want to hear it, go away. So it's really good to actually see them having a dialogue, having useful things happening. So it's moving forward. This is important. This is big. And they're actually talking to BlackRock and all these other guys, and the refilings are evidence of that happening. So I'm very excited to see this going down. We also, while all this is going on, last week we had another 35 freaking thousand Bitcoin taken off of exchanges. We are, again, a new multi-year low. The amount of Bitcoin currently sitting on exchanges hasn't been this low since like mid-2017. It's crazy, man. We've been in this non-stop supply decline. The Bitcoin halving is just around the corner. Really, it's only a few months away. If we're being serious about it, it's not that long. We have Bitcoin ETFs coming. The money printers are going to be turned back on. It's only a question of when are they going to turn the money printers back on. You know it's coming. It always does. It always does. The central banks have very few mechanisms in their toolbox, and money printing is one of their favorite ones. And I know what you're thinking. Lark, money printing hasn't solved the problems that printing money causes. I know, but the central banks keep doing it anyway, because it's madness. The fiat Ponzi scheme is madness. That's what's going on, man. Holy cow. It's just crazy to think about the dynamics of all this stuff happening. Look, we got some big news about when we could actually see an ETF approval coming. We also have spot Ethereum and stuff like that. But before we get into that, just a quick note, if you are a cryptocurrency trader, you got yourself an account over on BYBIT. It's the best damn place to be doing your trading, guys. Get up to 30K in deposit and trading bonuses. You can link down below in the description. You trade futures, spot, altcoins, all that stuff. And there's a lucky draw going on right now where you can be able to win thousands of dollars of different prizes like iPhones and stuff like that. So check it out using the link in the description. Now, let's talk about ARK. So they're the first, well, the first final deadline. That's the important thing to underline here. They're the first final deadline. They're on January 10th. So January 10th is the final deadline for the ARK Bitcoin ETF. So a lot of speculation going around right now that if we see an approval, it's going to be before January 10th, simply because they wouldn't want to deny that one and then let somebody else get in first for the exact same application if they didn't have a logical reason to deny ARK and just did it arbitrarily, which the SEC does do that. But if they did and then gave BlackRock, it would be, you know, problematic for a variety of reasons. Not saying they can't, but January 10th is a potential final deadline from that perspective, because it is the ARK Invest's final deadline. So they're up first for a final deadline. Other final deadlines from BlackRock and all these other players is like March 15th, March 16th, something like that, which is just weeks, by the way, before the Bitcoin halving, which is totally crazy when you think about it. All this stuff's lining up together, right? The other ones, though, they have their third deadline, not their final deadline, to point out. They have their third deadline in January, so January 15th, which is about 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, depending on the particular ETF application, after ARK Invest's final deadline. So that's a potential zone where we could see an approval coming in. And again, it's probably not going to come on like January 9th. It's probably going to come a little bit earlier, I would expect anyway, but we'll see how it plays out. The SEC is a fickle organization, as we all know. And I would like to point out, it's not just Bitcoin here we're talking about, guys. I know Bitcoin's getting all the attention. When those Bitcoin ETFs get approved, it's going to be like nothing else in crypto even exists. It's just going to be Bitcoin. Everyone's going to be talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about Bitcoin all the time anyway, but it's just going to be about damn Bitcoin at that time, guys. It's going to go crazy. It's going to pump to the moon. Altcoin bags are going to be demolished. But Invesco is now the 5th filing for a spot Ethereum ETF. It's going to come. It's going to come short on the heels of a Bitcoin ETF approval. Hear me now, quote me later. It's going to come. It's going to come. It'll be super popular when it does, because we've had so many, look, there's so many estimates out there about how much inflows this could bring into the Bitcoin market. Some are saying, well, you know, it's going to be 10 billion. Some are saying, oh, it's going to be 150 billion. It's going to be $200 billion of fresh money coming into the markets. And that's going to hit Bitcoin. That's going to hit Ethereum. We'll probably get like a Cardano and a Solana ETF at some point as well. Those might be farther down the road. Certainly Bitcoin and Ethereum are the best position in the industry in terms of being the first major ETF products. They actually comprise 75% of the whole damn cryptocurrency market together anyway. So obviously they're a good fit for early ETF products. But here's something to think about. The market pumped like $50 billion off of the fake news a few days ago that came out from Cointelegraph, where they tweeted out that the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF had been approved. That's insanity, because very little actual fresh money moved the market a lot. We didn't have $50 billion of money come in, right? We had $500 million, a couple billion maybe of cash move real quick. Probably not, right? A lot of money is not needed to move the markets significantly. A little bit of money can have a very big impact in this very tight market. Remember, multi-year lows on exchanges right now. Multi-year lows. Hasn't been this low since 2017. Bitcoin having just around the corner. These things are serious when you start looking at the moon math related to the Bitcoin ETFs. Billions are coming. And those billions of dollars are going to have an outsized price impact on the small amount of supply currently sitting there. No, if you're thinking, oh, it's just for Bitcoin, no, Ethereum has the same thing. 28 million ETH in the staking contract, 14 million ETH on exchanges. Again, do the moon math. It adds up. It adds up when we start bringing billions of dollars into the market, chasing after this limited supply of coins sitting on public exchanges. Prices can start moving a lot faster than people expect. Let me know what you think about all this down below in the comment section, and I will see you next time.